Hey folks, it is Book Talk with Corbin. I'm your host. A little ways back, Dave Chappelle, probably one of the greatest stand-up comedians ever. I mean, that man is a legend. When you say GOAT, David Chappelle in comedy, I mean, they all go together. But there was a time, again, there's a little ways back, when Dave Chappelle was expressing his rather intense political disagreements with Candace Owens. And as you know, Candace Owens is the author of Blackout. She is a very successful, author, podcaster. She's got a YouTube channel. I think she's associated with the Ben Shapiro whole company. I mean, she's really one of our great black thought leaders. And but Dave Chappelle has some disagreements with her because she's obviously on the conservative side, and Dave Chappelle, he's left leaning, no doubt. But he said something once that was really disturbing. Now, let's face the facts. He's a comedian. He's not a black male thought leader. He's not a black intellectual. He's definitely not on that level like Candace Owens is. He's not on the level of a Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu or Hakeem Matabutu or Dr. Boyce Watkins or Riza Islam or other brothers like that. He's not there. That's not his stick. That's not his lane. But still, I felt he went over the line when he expressed his disagreement with Candace Owens. And he talked about personal hygiene, her personal hygiene. And I said to myself, man, that was low even for a Dave Chappelle, But, I wasn't completely surprised that he'd say something like that. He made reference, again, to her personal hygiene. And then he said, well, I've never smelled her beep, 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 but I'm sure it, doesn't smell well. And I'm thinking to myself, man, come on, really? And so I was disappointed, but I wasn't necessarily surprised. And the reason why I say I wasn't necessarily surprised is that's because many left-leaning black folk in general, and specifically some of our what I call thought leaders, intellectuals, they seem to have an overriding, almost insane loathing and contempt for black conservative intellectuals. And sometimes I just wonder, man, what is going on there? I mean, what is the problem? Again, I can understand him saying, hey, Candace Owens takes this position and on this issue and I disagree with her, or she takes a position on this issue and I disagree with her. I get that. I can understand that. And I can understand you might have a little negative comment. She's dumb because she takes this position, or she's just crazy because she takes that position. But to go into this insane, silly, immature, ignorant, personal attack, that's just too much. Because let me tell you something. You ever read Dr. Thomas Sowell or Dr. Walter Williams or anything by Candace Owens or a Brandon Tatum or a Dexter Pitts or a Terrence Williams? You don't find them attacking people and attacking their critics or countering their critics with talk about their private parts. I mean, it just doesn't happen. When I saw that, I was so glad Candace, as far as I know, Candace Owens did not demand an apology from Dave Chappelle. I'm glad she didn't do that. But I think it would have been more than appropriate for Dave Chappelle to agree to a private one-on-one meeting with Candace Owens' husband, and for Dave Chappelle to explain to Candace Owens' husband why he said what he said. And then for Candace's husband to say back to Dave Chappelle, well, this is why we would never, from our end, from our camp, from our family, say anything obnoxious, rude, and ignorant like that about your wife. I mean, that's just it. Because you wouldn't have heard anything like that coming from Candace Owens' husband or from Candace Owens, making reference to those kind of rude, crude, ignorant reference or comments about Dave Chappelle's wife. And I think that Dave Chappelle really needs to hear that and to hear why from Candace and her husband. And that, I mean, I think, I hope and pray that something, maybe that type of meeting's already taken place, but I hope and pray something like that happens. And again, we're not, I'm not talking about this ignorant urban rap. We got beef with you, dog, so I'm going to shoot you next. I'm going to run up on you next time I see you. No. Civilized human being, it's to civilized human being. We're going to sit down and we're going to say, not demand an apology, but say, or ask, Dave, why did you say something like that? What was your reasoning or thinking behind that? And then the response is not to directly respond to whatever Dave Chappelle says, but to respond after you've heard what Chappelle had to say. Respond by saying, well, Dave, we would never say anything like that about your wife. And here's why. We just don't do that. That's out of bounds for us. Here's the other thing, though, I want to touch upon. What is it about the black left that they demonize black intellectuals? Demonize them. They totally, completely discount them. They do everything they can to cancel them. And here's my response. Here's what I say. Read the autobiographies of black conservatives, such as I Am Pitts by Dexter Pitts, such as From the Foster House to the White House by Terrence Williams, and Candace Owens' Blackface. Read those books for yourselves. Read those autobiographies for yourself. And it's my firm belief that you'll see why. You'll see for yourself why the black left has such utter contempt for black conservatives like Dexter Pitts, Terrence Williams, and Candace Owens. Read their books. Again, read I Am Pitts, From the Foster House to the White House, and Blackout. You can get all those books at Amazon.com. Check those things out for yourself and make your own decisions, because you'll see as you're reading those books, you'll begin to say, now I get it. Now I get it. Now I get it. Now I see why there is this fear and loathing. Well, such loathing and contempt. And it's partly out of fear. It's partly out of fear. But then again, you make your own decision. And the best way to make your own decision is read those books by those black conservatives. Hey, this is Book Talk with Corbin. Please go to YouTube. Follow my YouTube channel, Corbin Sievers, or Book Talk with Corbin. And please like and subscribe. Go to my webpage, Book Talk with Corbin, CORBIN.com. And check out my other interviews. I have some really good interviews with like New York Times best-selling authors like David Horowitz. I know you'll get a lot out of them. Folks, you'll be hearing from me again soon.